Forging a Nation, 1760 to 1860. The narrative of the life of Davy Crockett. This artifact is Davy Crockett's autobiography, The Narrative Life of Davy Crockett of the State of Tennessee. It is placed in this exhibit to depict the relationship between Crockett and the 7th President of the United States, Andrew Jackson. Davy Crockett was born and raised in eastern Tennessee. Eventually, he got married and raised children here. In 1813, after the massacre at Fort Mims, Crockett joined the Tennessee militia to fight against the Creek Indians. Crockett fought in the Creek War, but often hunted for food rather than killing the Native Americans. During the War of 1812, General Andrew Jackson recruited the Tennessee militia. However, Crockett and his men saw little action. In his narrative, Davy Crockett recounts much of his time in the militia. After his time in the militia ended, Crockett turned to a life of politics. He held positions in the Tennessee state government before he won a House of Representatives seat in 1827. When Andrew Jackson became president, Crockett disagreed with his policies. He writes, "It was expected of me that I was to bow to the name of Andrew Jackson, even at the expense of my conscience and judgment. Such a thing was new to me and a total stranger to my principles." Crockett hated Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act and was the only Tennessee man to vote against it. "I told them I believed it was a wicked, unjust measure of the president. I voted against this Indian bill, and my conscience yet tells me that I have a good, honest vote, and one that I believed will not make me ashamed in the day of judgment." The Indian Removal Act was passed on March 28, 1830. Davy Crockett continued to speak out against the foul treatment of Native Americans, for which he received much backlash. Crockett famously promised, "You may all go to hell, I will go to Texas." He then moved to Texas and eventually died fighting at the Alamo. If you want to know more, the narrative of the life of Davy Crockett is available on sites such as Amazon and Goodreads, and is even free and digital on Gutenberg.org. Davy Crockett is also depicted in multiple popular culture avenues, such as film, comics, prose, and theater.